What's up, YouTube? On today's video, this is actually going to be live in my free Facebook group. This is a group that I'm not going to be pitching anything. I just want to give a ton of value. And so on this call, I'm actually talking about process maps, the importance of process maps. And as you go on, I actually walk through what a process map is. I walk through our process map. I show you exactly how I build out the process maps, how we even take it a step further and build out our SOPs. A process map is like an overview of the process from beginning to end. It's a visual representation of along the journey, what part of each department in your company comes in to be able to do that role, how they communicate with each other, and then how they keep it going and moving it along to the very end. The SOPs are your standard operating procedures. So process map is a macro look at it. SOPs is a micro look at each thing that gets done in there. So I talk about how to build out a process map and build out SOPs, as well as the apps that I use, because I love using AI to be able to optimize that. And then I also give away my process maps. So if you want to join the Facebook group, it's free in there. You can download this specific process map and use it as a template, because this gets to be a lot if you try to do it on your own. So you could just use it as a template and then adjust as you go. This makes it really, really easy. And this is a process map that I built out for my wholesale company. So this isn't just like a process map for any company. It's for a wholesale company from beginning to end. So hopefully this video is helpful for you. If it is, of course, smash that like button, share it with somebody, and then join the Facebook group. I'd love to see you in there. I have a link down below. Now let's go ahead and get started. So what's up, everybody? I hope you guys are having a fantastic night tonight. Thanks for everybody that's joined the group today. I'm really excited. Just so you all know, just for a little bit of like context, I want this group to be just something that's really informative. You will not see me really sell anything out of this group. I want it to be helpful for you as you grow your business. This is a journey, and for us to be on this real estate journey together, as we're growing, as we're learning. Some people in here have been in real estate for a long time. Some people in here, they would like to dream of owning a piece of real estate, even a primary residence, and don't have one. And so I want to be able to make this a group where we can have all different types of people learning all different types of things about real estate, whether that be for them to learn passively and then they can invest, or whether that mean for them to learn and get really active with it, or whether that means to build on the foundations of your business. So this live today, I'm going to specifically talk about wholesaling. And so wholesaling real estate is essentially taking and flipping contracts. The idea is having contractual interest into a property, and that contractual interest is typically the contract. Now, some states don't recognize that, and so that's why we use like the installment method, but that's not what we're talking about here today. We're talking about what my company looks like from A to Z. And we're going to talk specifically about a process map. If you guys have questions, let me know. I'm going to check periodically on here, so feel free to ask any questions. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the screen share here, and we'll dive into what this is. So this is a process map, and what a process map is, like on a grand scale, this process map is what allows you to really scale your business. So scale your business from zero to having multiple employees doing the same thing, guiding along the same processes, and being extremely consistent across the board. The biggest like issue people run into is that they don't end up reproducing themselves, right? So you run into an issue where, or you can't actively reproduce yourself because you don't have the processes. So as a solopreneur, a lot of people, they get started in the business, and then they're learning, and then they're implementing, they're failing, they're learning. Oh, that worked. Let me keep doing that. I'm going to stop doing that. But what's happening is you're not documenting the journey. You're not understanding like what you're doing to be able to make it so that you could pass it off to somebody else that comes and works for you, that then takes over the transaction coordination side of your company, or then takes over the disposition side of your company. And so as far as wholesaling, there's typically like four or five. We'll see how many it ends up being when I'm done listing them. So you have like the marketing team, which we call our first impressions. And what's cool is we have virtual assistants that run the first impression side of our company. And I actually really like calling them first impression, because it gives them an identity that they're not used to, right? Like they're used to being called cold callers or texters. And those are the people that do a cold calling and texting in our company. But we actually are like, hey, you are the first impression that people have of our company. And so you are first impressions. I have the lead manager is the director of first impressions, right? So there's this idea of it's giving, especially people who typically live overseas, they make a lot less and don't really feel like they may have much significance in a company. we call them our first impressions team and our director of first impressions. And we have the first impressions team, right? So our cold callers and our texters. We have our lead managers, director of first impressions. Then we have our home buying specialist. So that's our acquisitions team. And then we have our TCs, our transaction coordinators. And then we have our disposition team or our investor relations team. And so these are the people that are, is that what we call them? Give me a second. I don't know why I'm blanking. I have that right here. Where are we at? Dispo is our, oh shoot. Yeah, I think it's something like, investor sales. So they're our investor sales department. And then we have our dispositions and transaction coordination. So that's our investor sales department. So we renamed everybody to give it a little bit more of a, this is what the role is, because this is what they call themselves. Imagine you call somebody and you're like, oh, my acquisitions team will get a hold of you. And then you're like, acquisitions? What do you like? Acquisitions? Mergers and acquisitions? And so for us, acquisitions, it's home buying specialist. So what we have here is as you add more people into your company, you want to have a unified, consistent way in which they operate and do things. And so you can have this. And so anybody can follow this in whatever department they come in and know exactly what they should be doing. So I'm going to dive through this. And as you look at it, you could tell it's whatever part of the process, right? So like here we have our first impressions team. After this part, you don't really see them again. There'll be some times though, where we have, let's say, for instance, right here, this has been handed off to our team right here. And yet our team here still does stuff along this process. So it's really helpful, or like stuff gets done right here and then stuff gets done right here. So this process map really lays out at what point in the process do people come in and begin doing things. And so I'm going to dive into each of these. Let me check to see if anybody's commented. No comments. All right, fantastic. And so let's go ahead and dive in. I'll show you guys exactly what this looks like for us. And for you all, if you guys, I made this just inside of Google Diagrams. So if you go to the Google Drive and I click on, so here's my process maps. So I have like my trainings and onboarding right here for our team. And we have one down here. We have an accountability chart. So if you don't have accountability charts, this is also really good. This is like your org chart that states like who the people are and what departments do they run and manage and who's in those departments and what their responsibilities are. This is really important as you build out a company as well. And then you see I have my data to dispo map. This is really simple. It can be done inside of diagrams.net. So if you want to go to Google Drive, then you go to new and you should be able to go right here to more diagrams.net. Pull up one of these bad boys and begin getting to work. All right, so you can see we have the different people in our parts of our process. First impressions, lead managers, or our directors of first impressions, FAM. So like internally, there are FAM members, Flair acquisition managers. Externally, there are home buying specialists, transaction coordinator, investor sales department, and then private lender relations. And so we deal with private lenders. And so actually, we used to deal with private lenders, and now we just do all of this out of my fund that we run. But when we were dealing with the private lenders, at what point do we start getting involved with those private lenders? All right, so as we walk through it, I'm going to show you guys exactly what this looks like. This is to make this a well-oiled machine for you guys. So we use 80/20 data. That is a really cool data service that allows you to honestly do some really, really crazy things on aggregating data. They do a bunch of motivation stacking. So that data comes into our system, and typically that data comes in and it's already skip traced. But what we can do is we can clean that data a little bit more. And if there's something that we need to skip trace anymore, we can do some like on houses that we think are really good or we can't get a hold of them, then we can do some more extensive skip tracing through Skip Matrix or Skip Genie. Once that goes in, it goes into our two outbound marketing things. One is call tools and the other is launch control. This is what we use for texting and calling. We currently don't use launch control right now, but are thinking of jumping back into it because we've been hearing some pretty good things about it. We're hearing some of the regulations being lightened up. So that could be a really good way for us to go in. I'm going to check for comments. No comments. All right. Call tools is really cool. So as it goes through call tools, this is very helpful for our team. Now, one thing you will notice in our SOPs, so you see this is the data dispo process map, but when I go into like our acquisitions team, you can see that they have phone appointments and in-person appointments process maps. Or if you go into TCs, you could see they get a little bit crazier. We've got, I have process maps on like novations and process maps on installment method and process maps on sub 2. So that stuff is typically like in there for our TCs. We also, it's a little messy in here. We use Trainual, and a lot of these are held in Trainual for our SOPs because a little bit of context here. This is a process, right? So this actually is more of an overview of what's to happen. So this is the process. SOPs are standard operating procedures. So essentially what each of these should have. So for instance, like qualified lead or REISift or whatever, you should be able to double click on stuff within the process to be able to pull up the SOPs, the standard operating procedures for how these are run. If I were to go to my acquisitions, and my SOPs are really in Trainual. So I'll show you guys what that looks like right here on the back end for us. So if I were to go in here, you guys could see Trainual for us is a little bit more of a robust platform. I don't want to get too much into the weeds here for you guys, but like you can dive into exactly, where am I? I don't even know what this looks like. All right. If you can go in here and see like, all right, so for pre-foreclosures or for even our team, I have them, all right, start here. It's a lot more organized on their end. So they start here for the onboarding, and then it walks through, okay, what are the expectations for day one, 30, 60, 90 documents, and all of these stuff. So it's really cool and laid out. And so you can see, here's our process maps in here. So they can look at those, and here's a foreclosure process map and what that looks like. You can see that the foreclosure process map, hard to see, but the foreclosure process map looks much different than our wholesale process map. Oh, that's not the wholesale process map. That's the wrong one. But our foreclosure process map looks different. And so all that stuff is here in Trainual. So I'm happy to talk about all that stuff a little bit more. Okay, no comments. If you guys have questions on that. Now, I'm going to go back in here. But yes, but all I was saying is like the SOPs are a little bit more like granular in here. So if I wanted to, I can search in here. And so when I pull up the installment method, then like we have title companies, documents, installment conversations. What do those conversations look like? What does the welcome call look like? And so then our TC has the full welcome call in here. Seller welcome call normal, right? Welcome questionnaire. So all of that stuff is in here. These are the actual procedures to the processes that are in here. So you'll see it say welcome call in here. So when it comes to our transaction coordination team, it is a welcome call, right? Where is it? It's somewhere in here. There should be a welcome call in here. I guess that would be right here. But the welcome call when gathering, contact seller, make introduction. This is the welcome call. This is the this is the process for the welcome call right here. And so we have all that stuff really laid out in here pretty easily. All right. Now, let's go ahead and keep going through here. So when our people get leads, they either, if they get reached, then there's two options, right? So there's not a lead, they're not interested. Then they go into follow-up, they recycle this data every 2 months, call them again. If there's not a lead, then they're not interested, then it goes into do not contact. But if they are interested and it is a lead, then now it goes into our CRM, which currently is REISift. It probably won't be for much longer, but currently REISift. Then we assign a campaign to a lead because that's how it goes. And then call the lead to confirm an appointment. Is it a qualified lead? Yes. Is an appointment set? Yes. Is it in person or a phone lead? We're going here. So then now we're trying really hard to make sure, one, we want to push for that appointment in person. And if it's a phone lead, we're going here. And if it's in person, then we're going here. Schedule an in-person in REISift and assign it to one of our acquisition people. If it's a phone lead, then it goes add to REISift to be claimed. So then the lead is claimed. Is this an in-person or is this a phone meeting? So then now we've got, all right, what does it look like if it's a phone appointment? Run comps. Do you have time to do this before a call? If you do have time, great. Input this in here, run our comps and input the values into our calculator to get that idea. If not, ask one of the team members to do it in a calculator. If you're going to an in-person prop, then you have time to run comps before you go. We want to start an appointment drip campaign that says, hey, I'm looking forward to seeing you. Here's a little bit about me. So you know that I'm a 5'10" black guy. I'm not a 4'3" white lady. So like you can let them know exactly who you are, give them a little context, looking forward to meeting you, run your comps, understand it and then confirm that appointment with them and prepare a company property packet. Then you have right here, contact was attempted. If it's over the phone, was the offer made? If it was, then good. Create a DocuSign contract to call. No contract on call, text with the next contract when contract is sent, follow up 3 days. So this is very, very clear. And this, again, overall process not the specific procedure. So in here, I'm not putting our script, but we can have a lead to our script. So like when it comes to our foreclosure, so let's go like foreclosure process map. So you'll see our pre-foreclosure process map is a whole lot more detailed on, hey, click this link, have these conversations, do these things. So you'll see in here, it's a little bit different, right? We're pulling data that's going through because we're not going 80-20 data on this stuff. It's pulling data, cleaning the list, looks a little different. Then now people are joining in at different parts of the process. But so like here, add to the spreadsheet, boom. Now it goes all the way down here to our fam team. And so there's different parts of this. All right, call, text and call the number. Here's the different scripts for texting and calling to send. And this is all linked into our Google Drive, right? So when somebody clicks this, it should take them to the Google Drive where our text and our call scripts are. So it's really cool that they could be able to come in here and see exactly what to do. Did they answer? Yes. Did it work? Did they not? Like there's a whole bunch of different things to do. And then here's the thing, have a conversation with somebody. Here's the script for that. And that's in here as well. This just makes it like super, super clear for people that are on your team that are working to be able to follow a process. So this is just our data to dispo, regular wholesaling, not foreclosures. Let me see if we got any questions. Still no questions. We got a bunch of lurkers in here. That's all right. Anybody ask a question? Nah, no questions. All right. We got some lurkers up in here. Well, enjoy. But I would love questions. I love questions. So if we get a contract signed, sweet. This should not wait 2 days. This should be just like wait 24 hours. So you can see these things are pretty easy. Actually, don't wait 24 hours. Within 24 hours, sales manager survey. Oh no, actually no. This is right. Whoops. So within 2 days is a sales manager survey call, but within 24 hours we have the seller welcome call, and this is going to be again like this is our investor sales department. That's what we have here. This is actually probably going to be this actually is our transaction coordination department that does this seller welcome call. Depending on if it is a foreclosure or not, we're getting third-party authorizations. We definitely want to be sending a seller info sheet and then calling the foreclosure attorney. This is when we were just doing like bigger data. Just for you guys to know, for a year and a half, we switched to just foreclosures, and now we're back doing all different type of data. So we use a mixture of these two. Look at how much different this is our transaction coordination department. They jump in a lot. So they're talking to lenders, they're talking to foreclosure attorneys. But here, this is very easy. So like open title, send seller information docs, send title company. When talking to the lenders, asking for a postponement, these are the things that you hit on. All right, great. Talking to a lender, prepare seller when calling the lender. Hey, I'm going to call a lender. It's going to be like this. This is what the conversation looks like when you're talking to the lender. When you get a hold of a rep in the department, do these things. And then now we're going to wait talking to the foreclosure attorney. So this looks confusing, but as you get the hang of it, you begin really understanding it. And like if the person, like the person in that department just has this, then they should be fine. But they can also see where they belong in the whole grand scheme of things. So for instance, for me, typically the one looking for lending, I'm starting to get lending right here. And this is when we have got it under contract. So getting the lending and the exit strategy in place. So you can even see, I think this should say right here, underwrite property for under exit strategy and decide on exit strategy. That's where we are on understanding some of these things. So it's cool to have these, exactly what to do at what part. Oh yeah, close it, decide on exit strategy. Some of that stuff should happen a little bit earlier. But now, as we're still going through, I don't mean to really confuse you all, but let's say this right here is our investor sales department, which is our like a typical dispo department. Seller welcome call. We're going to go ahead and get pictures. And then we're going to run our comps for potential sell price, final approval. So if the people don't get final approval from our like disposition sales manager, if it's not approved because no, this price won't work at where you locked it in at, we need it at a different price in order to disposition it, then we need to renegotiate with the seller. If we fail renegotiating, then we cancel the contract. If not, if it's approved, then we move forward with inspection. But then again, here, like if we renegotiate it and it's a success, perfect. Move forward with inspection. Now we're talking through exit strategy. If we're keeping it, it looks a little bit different. If we're wholesaling it, now we're publishing it and putting it on things like Investor Lift, Craigslist, Facebook, call all local buyers, list on the MLS, field inquiries, qualify prospective buyers, schedule showings, Follow up on showings. Not interested, get feedback. Why not? Interested, negotiate, accept offer. So then we have that in there. But at the same time, as we look here, what happens is once this happens right here, this is when our TC comes back in, coordinate showings with sellers. Now we've got offer right here, fill in BC contract, submit BC contract, send any additional documents to title company, upload all documents to REISimply. AB contracts and BC contracts should have all of this stuff in here. Verify checklist items. We actually have a really crazy TC checklist too. 2 days before closing, verify closing time and location with seller, close. So this is what it looks like. This is a very broad overview of what a data to dispo from the beginning to the end, what it should look like for you to wholesale. But having this here is extremely useful for your team to visualize at what point of the process do they come in? What does their process look like? So then if they come here and then they're like, oh shoot, how do I run comps? Then they should be able to go to their SOPs, right? So they come into Trainual right here and they should be able to search here. And then it's like comping with prompt stream, run comps on all. This is actually the kind of the learning section of it. But comping with batch leads, comping with Zillow. And then when they log in, there is a full, right, a Loom video of me showing them how to comp. Plus, look at this. So this is the SOPs, right? So you have here a process map, how that process looks like in an overview. And then you have the procedures, a Loom video with step-by-step clicking this button right here, how to do this. Click this button right here. Click these buttons right here. You can see like the little circle tells them where to click. Click right here. So they could either walk through it here and look at the PDF step-by-step version, or they can look here. And so you want to have something that is built out on a larger, so you have a macro level view of what's to happen, and then you have a micro level view of how it happens. So that's what it is, the SOPs, and that's how they differ. Okay, that's all I'm going to talk about tonight. That's a little bit of the 20 minutes of it, just walking people through that. Does anybody have questions before I kind of like log off and go from here? I just want to show you guys what our SOPs look like. If you want to see a specific SOP, I'm more than happy to do that. Just chime in. But if not, like, I'm going to go. But I also want to provide as much value as I can in this. And so I thought I'd show you guys some SOPs, how our company is run. You see that this is not like, and at the end of the day too, understand, this is not, when you're running a wholesale company, a lot of people are like, I want to get into wholesaling. It's going to be awesome. I'm really excited for it. Wholesaling is fantastic, but understand, like, it is a company. It is a sales and marketing company. And for you to do really well, you want to have it scaled out. You want to have something that is very easily reproducible, because it's very hard to reproduce what's in your head. So what I would say, if some of you are like, where do I even start? To go 0 to 1, I would just start documenting the things you do on a daily basis. So like everything you do, like not even joking, spend like the next 2 days with a spreadsheet, like just like an Excel doc or a Google Sheets doc. And then each column, it's sent an email to title company about this. Opened up REISimply, added a lead, did this, did that. And then what I would really suggest you do is after those couple of days, start ordering the things that you don't like, right? So begin ordering the things in order from like least to most, the things you like doing the most to the things you like doing the least. Actually, things you like doing the least, things you like doing the most. And then everything you like doing the least, I would go ahead and put that into another column, and I would begin building out the process, step-by-step process of doing each of those things. Then right after that, I would go ahead and hire somebody to do those things. You can literally hire a virtual assistant. If you need a good place to hire virtual assistants, let me know. I can give you a really incredible place to hire virtual assistants. And so then you can just literally give them now the process map and the processes that you built out, just a little spreadsheet, whatever, of those little things you built out, and give that to them and be like, all right, here you go. These are the things that I want you to do. And now you've documented how to do them, or you've documented what they are, and the documented step-by-step how to do them. And then now it is no longer just in your head, but it's able to be reproduced to somebody else who honestly, a lot of times is a virtual assistant that is costing $4, $5, $6 an hour. So significantly easier to do it that way. If you want a suggestion on a really great place, I love artificial intelligence. And so I use artificial intelligence to build out a lot of our SOPs. And so here's a place right here called ScribeHow. ScribeHow is fantastic because ScribeHow will actually, and you can see that I've built out a lot of these right here. ScribeHow will actually use artificial intelligence. And that's what this was created with. These right here were created with ScribeHow. And so it actually will, it did this for me. Navigate here, click this right here, click this image, click this number, start inputting this. It did all of this stuff for me. All it did was track what I did. So I have two things right here. I have Loom, and then I have one for ScribeHow. Like here it is right here. There's ScribeHow, and then there's Loom. I click both of those, and then I just begin building out my SOPs for this, and then I can hand that off to somebody. That's something that I would highly suggest you all to do from 0 to 1. That's going to be a really great way for you to begin building out the SOPs so you can make the things you do reproducible. Then you can hand them off. And then here's the great thing. So you've ordered them from least to great of the things you like doing and don't like doing, or don't like doing and doing. Now at that point, you should have delegated all the things that you don't like doing. So now you could spend most of the time, which is the most important thing you do, doing the things you love doing, which is going to be the thing that moves the needle the most in your company. So that's how I would say to start doing this. And so I hope that is helpful for you all. Okay, I'm going to get off. Ain't nobody said anything. Maybe they did though, and it just doesn't show here. Let me check. Oh, dang. Oh gosh, here it is. Sheesh. All right. Will you put a copy of this in the group? Lloyd, why not? I'll throw you guys I'll throw you guys that, whatever. How long did it take for you to make this? And do you outsource or do it yourself? Fantastic question. It took me a while to do these. So I built these out, and I was like, actually, no, just straight up. For me to do all of the SOPs and train you on all that stuff, that took me about a week. I'm weird though. Please guys, it will not just take you a week. It'll probably take you like 3 weeks to a month, like actually dedicate time to doing it. I geek out on this stuff, so it didn't take me too long to build it out. I'm more than happy to give this out to you guys. Just make sure that like you do it and make it your own. What part of the business did you start to document first? Great question, Dennis. The stuff, I think I just told you, the stuff I hated. How long did it take you to build this out? Great stuff. Yeah, so I would say like the SOP, honestly, you have to sit down and you have to be like, what part of the process do people do? And then honestly, I'm going to give you guys my data to dispo process one, because I want you to have, I want you to succeed. Honestly, it sucks not having some sort of template, and nobody has templates like these. So I'll let you guys have that. So you have this template. You can get VAs from anybody. There's a fantastic Cortec VAs. It's actually a VA company I own, but the guys are incredible. I actually have 2 guys in Egypt that run it, and they headhunt and they find amazing people. One of them's an attorney, like an attorney in Egypt. He's on the bar. And another one is like a dentist. They're incredibly smart and intelligent. And so they headhunt really top quality talent for people. So if you have a question and you want any of those virtual assistants, I'm more than happy to get you set up and see what will work for you. If not, then there's a ton of other people that also have virtual assistant companies that would be fantastic as well. But more than happy to set you guys up with some incredible, I'm not even joking, incredible virtual assistants. It was a shameless plug, but I did try in the beginning to say, I know a good company, and I did try not to plug it as mine. But trust me, they're the best. I'm not even joking. They're extremely intelligent Egyptian virtual assistants. Incredible English too. A little bit of a shameless plug, but they're the best. And so I hope this is helpful for you guys. I'll go ahead and drop this. Let me go ahead and make a copy of it. And then you guys make copies of it. And it's just, the data to dispo one. It's a beast. It's pretty awesome. But I'll let you guys grab that. Thanks for being in the group. You know what I mean? And yeah, great. I'm glad I found these questions that y'all had. Thanks for being here. Bunch of legends up in here. I appreciate you all. And I hope this is helpful. All right. I'll wait for one more question if anybody has any more questions. If not, then I'm going to roll bounce like Bow Wow. You know what I'm saying? Only some of you will get that joke. Maybe none of you. Appreciate y'all. All right, y'all. Y'all have a fantastic night. Y'all are awesome. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you.